So talk to me about your influencer strategy, right? So you guys are a top 10 brand, second fastest growing brand. And of course, I think what people will typically focus on, which is actually I think less important than they realize, is like your role in that, right? Like your personal channel. Like of course it's great that you support the brand and you should, but the reality is that you've got a massive community that is supporting the company. So talk to me about kind of what your philosophies are there from an influencer marketing perspective. Maybe how you structure the team. What are the things that are driving your success there outside of having a fantastic product?
Well, I will say I'm not our biggest influencer anymore. Like for a while at the beginning, it's like, okay, like I'm pushing a lot. And now it's like there are people who send much more traffic and sales and EMV and everything than I do and like Lauren does. And so it's so interesting to see. Like I like am obsessed with going in and seeing like what's driving what. Like it's really, really, really interesting. And so I think I talked to someone before from another brand and they had to basically report to their boss EMV because that was how their boss measured success. And so their budget was, if we make the top 10 or if we're ranked here, we have X amount in EMV, then this is like what your budget is allocated towards because they need something tangible. We can't win there. We are a small brand. That's not the budget that we have. So we can't say we're going to spend X dollars to for sure make this number because we don't really know how that's going to translate. And so I think for a little bit we were like trying to play that game and it didn't work for us. So
Mm-hmm.
we thought, okay, we're not going to try to do that. What we are going to try to do is just do what we do best, which is gifting people, working with influencers that are a good fit for us. So instead of like chasing an EMV number, it's like who really is a good fit for the brand. Because I think a few years ago, I saw this too, where I saw brands working with people that it wasn't necessarily the right fit, but I could tell that they were trying to like chase like the big YouTuber.
Yep.
And I think brand alignment is so important. There are brands who I know that I wouldn't like, it just wouldn't translate for me. And so I'm doing the brand a disservice by working with them because there is a better fit for that person. So I think if you're a brand, go after your customer, go after your people who naturally speak about the brand anyway. And that's why I think it's great to have the access to this data because you're seeing how frequently someone talks about the brand, what EMV they're already organically sending. So if you want to work with them, you kind of have an idea of like what it might translate to and what it might look like. So looking at how we work with influencers. So influencers, I think, I talk about this because I want them to know. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
talk about a brand and you tag a brand, we see it. Like it
Yep.
will show up on our tribe. Like if you posted about us 11 times last week, we know. And so when we're looking for new people to work with, we go and we say let's show this person some love because they posted us 11 times or they sent this much EMV. And there will be people where we didn't know they weren't on our radar. They bought the products organically and posted us. And then those are the people we end up working with. And so if you're an influencer listening to this, go buy your favorite brands. If you really want to work with someone, tag them because not only what happens is there's a social media person, right? And that's probably the person answering DMs, responding to comments, looking at tagged pictures. But then the influencer relations person or the person in charge of like the influencer budget where they're actually spending money, this person is on the back end of Tribe. And this person is seeing how frequently you posted a brand, what the EMV is that you sent, how many times you posted your Instagram stories, your feed posts, and they can go to your profile and click every single time that you've posted about the brand. And so I think that's the best way to get on a brand's radar. And so for us, that's how we find new people to work with. So it's a combination. I think for every brand campaign, every new launch, it's like a mix, right? Like you don't want to go all micro, you don't want to go all macro. You need a little bit of everything. And so I think working with your typical big influencers that have a large reach, I think their benefit is one, EMV is great, but two, it's just like sheer brand awareness. They might not translate a ton of sales, but a lot of people are going to see your new product launch from this person. Then I think there's like mid-tier people who a lot of, or micro even, but they're sending a lot of sales where they might not get you a ton of EMV, but like their swipe ups are crazy, or they have really
Mm-hmm.
good
Mm-hmm.
content creation that you can repurpose.
Yep.
So each person kind of serves a different purpose. And then when we go through and we're looking at an influencer, either for like what we spend monthly or for a new product launch, we know each different person has a specific thing that we're working with them for. And then I think being an influencer I hope, has made us an easier brand to work with, because when we're coming up with, the campaign or the one sheet that we send a brand, we give them a little bit more creative freedom. And I think when you're working with influencers, if you just want them to reiterate what you're saying, like, you may as well just run digital marketing ads and do it yourself. But if you want to work with an influencer, they know what works best for their audience. So give them creative freedom to speak about there's maybe like a talking point you want to include, but give them freedom to share the product that they think works best for their audience in a way that they think their audience will resonate with it. And I think telling an influencer ahead of time, like, hey, I really want to work with you because we need a boost in sales, or we really want to work with you because we want really great content. Then the influencer knows going into when they're doing the job for you, how they will photograph or speak about the product. Because if you just want a pretty picture and that's why you're working with me, I will share it differently than if you just want like pure sales, because that's a different type of content. So I think just giving them creative freedom, and then also, letting them know what your goals are ahead of time, is really helpful for a successful campaign.